It's the Guitar Dads!
Welcome to the Guitar Dads Podcast, a podcast for guitar dads by guitar dads. This week we are fueling another debate on music, more bad polls in a campaign season, we may attend a Renaissance festival, and we bludgeon the Joe Bonamassa discussion to death. It's different shades of blonde this week on the Guitar Dads Podcast. Now, Mr. and Mrs. Brownstone, Matt and Dave.
Hello, everybody. I'm Matt.
And I'm Dave, and welcome into another pod.
Mr. and Mrs. Brownstone?
Well, we are talking GNR tonight a little bit, so, you know.
Yeah, there's a slight GNR thing
There's a
here.
slight GNR
Brownstone. Yeah, anyway.
So
hello, everybody. Hello.
If you haven't noticed, I want everybody on that is watching on YouTube right now, and if you're just listening, you should go on YouTube and check out Matt's new hair.
Yeah, so...
Or lack thereof. It's cut, it's shaved, it's not shaved, it's cut, it's normal.
Yeah, so big news this week is I cut my rock and roll dad hair.
So you're no longer like a rock star then? Is that how this works? Or,
my bandmates threatened to kick me out of the band, even though I'm the only man in the band with long hair. I was. They threatened to kick me out because I was carrying the whole band. I mean, I am the front man for the band, so the long hair.
You are the front man.
They were kind of excited about the long hair at the band, but it got way too much maintenance, way too hot, and my wife really hated it. So.
Oh, well, that's it right there.
I mean, that's the bottom line. If she hates
happy wife, happy life.
If she hates it.
Yeah, but did you feel the rock and roll just like getting sucked out of your blood as the scissors went through?
She's been begging me to cut it. Yeah, no, I mean, I actually felt like it was a relief because it was nice. It honestly got to the point, for you rockers out there that still have the long hair, like, more power to you. It's a lot of work, and it's just like, to me, it was like, wake up every morning, put your hair in a ponytail. It stays in the ponytail all day until you're basically ready to go to sleep. I'm like, what's the point of this? What's the point of doing this if it's just in a ponytail? Yeah. So it wasn't the best thing, and I'm gonna have to start going back into the office. Basically, it's like the party's over.
Well, speaking of that, why didn't you keep? We were talking about this off air. Why didn't you keep the mullet?
Yeah, the mullet would have been
in the front, party in the back.
The mullet would have been a good flex.
Would have been a great '80s, like an '80s rock and roll.
Yeah,
look,
it would have been a cool thing to do. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Hey, look, thankfully I have the ability to grow hair, so it can always grow back. So
or you could have done the
maybe this time next year you'll see me with hair again.
You could have done the John Mayer '80s look right now.
Oh yeah, he's totally going. By the way,
80s.
John Mayer is totally going full on 80s. I saw on his Instagram he posted like a bunch of cassette tapes.
He did, yeah.
Of the album.
Yeah.
What the hell's going on with this?
He's going full on 80s, and I sent you a text early this week. I feel like that's like the theme right now with album covers too. Because did you see Kingfish's new album?
I think
it's a new album.
Yeah,
that's a little like 80s vibe too.
Yeah, that's coming out in July. Yeah, I can't wait for that, actually, the Kingfish album. There's going to be some great albums coming out, man.
Well, the album, you see half of them on the front, but you got to turn to the other side to see the other half. So.
Well, the thing is, vinyl has come back in full force, and now it sounds like cassette tapes are coming back, which makes zero sense to me whatsoever, because cassette tapes, the quality was terrible, and they got all like messed up. You remember having, this is how old we are, guys. I remember putting the pencil in the cassette and rolling it back when they got unraveled. You remember that, Dave?
Yeah. And making mixtapes. You remember
mixtapes were the best,
Yeah, mixtapes that was the way to go.
Mixtapes. That's why Say Anything is such a big movie.
It's a weird piece of physical music to come back, because you're right. The quality was terrible, and maybe it's because it's just like trendy,
Yeah, of course. It's like an 80s retro. Everybody loves retro stuff. You know what, Dave? Hold on to all your CDs. It's going to come back around. People are going to be like, "Oh my God, CDs are so much better."
And I agree. Well, I actually agree and I don't play them very much in the house, but I do play them in my car because I have a hard drive in the car, so I've just recorded them all to the hard drive. So this might negate my point.
Yeah, I don't know if that's true. Yeah,
but I'm going to make the point anyway because I think it's true. I was listening to Eddie Trunk earlier today, and he was interviewing Taylor Momsen. She's the lead singer of the Pretty Reckless.
Oh yeah, I like her.
Whom I like, you don't. But
yeah. I don't think
that's beside the point.
I mean, I like her. I just don't think the band's very good.
Yeah. But he made the point, and he always does. He's a big CD guy, but he made the point about it, the new album sounding like really good, and you can really hear everything, and you don't hear like this compression that you hear when you because he on the CD that you hear if you stream it, and he's kind of right. Like stream music is. If you do it like an A/B comparison, it actually you do really hear a big difference.
Yeah, no, I think that's true because I'll tell you what, when I had a car that had a CD player in it about, I don't know, 5-6 years ago now, I remember I had the I put a CD. I think it was so maybe it wasn't 5-6 years ago because I think it was the remastered Appetite for Destruction. The remastered one that came out a few years back. It was when I still had that car that the CD player in. I remember listening to the CD and then going back to Apple Music and noticing a real kind of the difference in my car with the CD.
Yeah.
And maybe that was just my car, but I mean, I don't know. I could tell the difference with the CD. I think CD is definitely a higher quality fidelity than you're getting, but people say that about vinyl too. They say the fidelity in vinyl is awesome. People invest tens of thousands of dollars in hi-fi stereo, and that's what they play. They play vinyl.
Yep. Oh yeah.
So
that's why it's here, and it's probably here to stay for a while.
But are they going to do that with tapes? Tapes? I don't know. Although
tapes never sounded good.
Slash record. No, that's different from recording in the studio to the big tape, like the 3/4 inch tape. I think it's 3/4 inch tape. I could be wrong. I don't know. It's big, like very wide tape.
Let us know in the comments if you know.
Yeah, it's very wide tape that these big reel-to-reel things they have in the studio. Slash records his solo album still to tape. Because he feels like there's because he feels like there's a fidelity there and sonic quality that he really likes. Yeah. So you can go research this. It's actually true. It's crazy.
Well,
I don't know if all of it is, but I think a lot of it is. So
doesn't he do something too? I think they mentioned during one of the rig rundowns they did. I can't remember all the He records something like in the studio, then he goes back into the sound room and does something else and re-records it. Plays
maybe
it again or something. I forget what they said.
A lot of artists do that kind of stuff. I mean, to tell you the truth,
that's how he does it. Like every time, he doesn't do it any other way.
Oh, maybe I don't know.
That's how he's.
I haven't heard.
I forget. I should go back and listen to it.
But I know that he himself was really into recording right to the reel, the big, the old school to tape.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting. And, his albums sound great. So who the heck knows if maybe there's something to that. I have no idea. But anyway, what do we got for topics what do we got for news and notes?
Well,
we have a new segment this week.
We do have a new segment this week. But first, we just want to thank all of our listeners, our subscribers, and everybody out there following us on the socials. Find us on Instagram at Guitar Dads Pod. Same on Twitter. Look for us on YouTube. We're posting these podcasts so you can see what's going on. We're going to be definitely putting out more live content, so stay tuned for that. And thank you for listening. We really appreciate the support. This is how this thing rolls. You guys listen, we talk, and we also would love to hear comments and let us know other topics that you guys want to hear about.
Let us know comments. And also, if you're a listener of the podcast and you listen to this just in audio form and maybe you've never seen what we look like, go on the YouTube page and try to guess who's who and tell us if you think like we are what you pictured we would be like or not. I'm interested to hear.
That's a good idea. Yeah, but I think the giveaway is when you introduce yourself as Matt.
Yeah. So you have to say it right before the intro when we pop on the screen. Before I say I'm Matt and I'm Dave,
Yeah, exactly. Before I do the intro,
try to guess.
then you'll know. Try to guess.
Or just mute it and then see.
Right.
And, that might be a fun little thing for you guys to do. And if you want to see our respective guitar caves, you can do that as well.
Yeah, we should do like guitar cave tours.
Yes, we totally should do that.
And you guys out there should film your guitar caves and send it to us, and we can feature it on the channel.
Oh, that's a great idea. If you want to send us your guitar caves, and we'll put it like on Instagram or something, just like tag us on Instagram.
Yeah, see, I just came up with a great new segment.
That's great.
This is like HGTV, and we'll come up with it. This will be good.
Yeah, it'll be like
send us your guitar
caves, and we'll critique them.
Yeah, exactly. I was trying to come up with something like snappy, like a Homes on Homes kind of thing.
It'll be like caves,
I couldn't come up with it fast enough.
If you want your guitar cave critiqued by the guitar dads, hit us up on the Instas.
Dave on Caves? No, that's not.
Dave on Caves? Yeah, no. The guitar dads.
But anyway, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. We appreciate the support.
We love you.
And like Matt said, we have a new segment. What is it?
It's called News and Notes.
And we need intro music here. See?
Yeah, I know. I have to write some. Sorry.
You got to write some music.
I'm behind on that. I'll get there.
Can you sing us something?
It'll be like, News and Notes. Yeah, man!
There you go.
How's that?
That was perfect. Yeah,
okay, good.
Yeah, clip that. Keep that. I like it.
All right, what do you want to get into? You got something you want to say about Fuel?
Yeah, Fuel.
Remember that band Fuel?
Fuel is one of our favorite bands, right? We loved these guys back in the day.
Back in the late 90s? Yeah, man.
In the late 90s.
We loved them, yeah.
But they've moved on. They got a new singer.
Oh, they do? Not Brett Scallions?
No, but they don't have Brett Scallions. It's some other guy, some other vegetable.
Brett Scallions was awesome. What happened to Brett Scallions?
I don't know all the details, but yeah, they got a new singer and they're moving on, and they're putting out new music.
Interesting. Now, have you heard any of this?
It's not. I don't believe it's totally out yet.
Oh, okay. So it's like a tease.
I think it's a tease. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So So look forward to that. Now I don't know anything about this new lead singer either, so he may be terrible. And this is well. Here's the thing.
Yeah, this is a great news segment. Hey guys, Fuel has a new singer. He might be terrible, but you can check it out.
Well, I'm just thinking I'm just saying as the Fuel lead singer, because I think you have this image in your head with Fuel, right? In the sound, in their sound, and Brett was such a meaningful sound, a soulful sound to that, to their. What am I trying to say here? Help me out. I'm drowning.
I mean, Brett was just an awesome rock and roll singer, and definitely
he really made the band.
And Dave, what would you call this genre of rock? It's like post grunge, kind of like I don't know, what would we call it? It's definitely post grunge because it was after all that.
It is post grunge, but it is kind of grunge. Well, I don't know.
It's more kind of straight ahead rock and roll. That's why we rock and roll. I think that's why we liked it.
But I mean, a lot of bands have replaced singers, and actually, as I was complaining about this other guy, here I am thinking about Sammy Hagar in Van Hagar,
but
right?
that is such an anomaly.
Well, and then Alice in Chains after Lane died, and the guy I forget the guy's name, but he's a great singer too.
No, he's definly good.
They went on and sounded great.
Yeah, look, the Alice in Chains guy is definitely good, but you can't Alice in Chains was basically over when Lane died. Like, you can't really, it's not like, the biggest success story of all time with an updated singer is a new singer is AC/DC Back in Black, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, it doesn't get much better than that, but and then went on to even more success with Brian Johnson.
But my point is, it works. It can work. It can work. Like a sound.
No, it can't. Right? No, I agree. Like, I would totally go see Alice in Chains live. Like, that singer is great. Is it the same as like Alice in Chains? Like, no. But it is good, and maybe Fuel can reinvent themselves. I mean, they've been. I haven't heard from them in a long time, but I enjoyed their couple albums that they had out. So.
Yeah. So I'm kind of looking forward to hearing this. It could be pretty good. Another band from back then, actually a little earlier than them, but they were still playing around that time, is Candlebox. They are talking about another tour. They got a tour booked, and apparently on a couple of the dates, the original lineup will be together. I don't know why it's not the entire tour, but anyway.
What was
Candlebox? Do you remember them?
I don't remember. I kind of. What was their
band.
big song? I think I remember them.
Far Behind. You don't remember Far Behind?
Far Behind.
It's like an iconic riff back then.
Yeah.
I can't believe you don't know this.
Yeah, you got to sing it to me.
I do. Sing. I'm not going to sing for you guys.
I do know it. I do know it.
Of course you know it.
Candlebox. Jeez. But tell me more about this. What's going on? This guy's coming back. What's this reunion?
They've been hot and cold for a number of years, but I guess they're going to be doing a big tour. Like I think like a 45 date tour or something like that. So that's going to be that could be a really good show to see. I mean, they were great. They were great when I back in the day, and my Candlebox story that I wanted to tell you is when I saw them open for Aerosmith. I think it was at the I don't remember where it was somewhere. I think it was at the Worcester Centrum at the time, and I think it was 99,
Aerosmith?
early 2000. They opened for Aerosmith.
Oh, okay, all right.
Now I was sitting on the floor, and the Candlebox lead singer, after he killed it on stage, he kept walking by our area.
Yeah.
Like time after time after time while Aerosmith was on. And every time he walked by, he had a different girl in his hand. It was so rock and roll.
Was he saying, now maybe I didn't mean to treat you so bad.
That's the song.
But I did it anyway. Now maybe.
Who sings that?
For anybody listening that didn't know the band, now you know the band.
If anybody's listening, Matt did reveal to everybody that he is the front man in a cover band.
And that's how I sing. So come see my
exactly cover band. How you sing.
So come see my band. And when you come see us, make sure you drink a lot before I hit the stage. Whatever you do.
Yeah, drink a ton.
Anyway, now I remember the band. They're great.
Yeah, man. What else we got in the news?
Well, let's see. You got a Foo Fighters thing here. The Foo Fighters reopen. They reopen the Forum in L.A.
Yeah,
full capacity concert. The Foos. Leave it up to the Foos to reopen the L.A. Forum, right? Like, why the hell not?
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, that's awesome. The Foos, Lollapalooza's happening. They'll be there. Like we've always said, it's back in full force. The concerts are happening. Are Dave and I going to go to any concerts? Maybe.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're definitely going to the Black. We are definitely going to the shows.
Am I slacking on getting concert tickets for us, Dave?
You are slacking on. Well, I can get them too. Yeah, we're going to hit Blackberry Smoke. We are definitely hitting Hailstorm. Who's touring with,
we are? Oh, I forgot about Hailstorm.
Hailstorm. Well, it's on my birthday here.
Oh, is it? Oh, but that's like in December, dude.
That's in December. Yeah, it's starting in November.
Yeah. Well, anyway, are we gonna?
Well, now they're touring with. How do you feel about this? They're touring with Evanescence.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not a fan of Evanescence, but I don't know. Maybe I am. Maybe they'll be fun to watch.
Well, she's got a great voice.
She is good, and they got a great guitar player. Evanescence. It's a woman. Her name is Jen Majora.
Yeah,
she's great. She's awesome.
Yeah. So that could be a good show.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think it'll be either way. It'll be great. And Hailstorm, it'll be worth it either way because Hailstorm is just so amazing. And I also wanted to convince you, Dave, to see Alice Cooper.
I would see Alice Cooper because it's just so cool.
The other thing, kind of like a sleeper show that we should probably try to check out is Kenny Wayne Shepherd.
Oh, that's a sleeper show. How is that? Well, I guess he's not like a
it's at a
massive name.
Yeah, it's at a smaller venue around here. Yeah. But we should check him out as well. But it's happening. Shows are back.
You would never have thought this last year at this time.
I know. It's amazing. June,
it really is. And every day you hear about a new tour. Yeah,
and think about this: California is having full capacity shows. Like,
yes.
Look, everybody stay safe, do what you got to do. But we are so happy that this is happening. And, everybody's, and this is the thing, like Dave and I now, like our calendars are filling up. It's like hard for us to figure out what we're going to do because like we're actually going places and seeing people.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So it's like we got to work with schedules again, which is a weird situation.
But this kind of begs the question, is 2021 going to be like a renaissance of sorts for music?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
are we going to look back like 30 years from now and say, wow, all the great music that came out in 2021?
Yeah, yes. I think, look, man, I mean, look, you name any of the artists that we follow, any of the artists that a lot of people follow are coming out with new music in 2021 because what did they do? They wrote all this new music. I think it absolutely is going to be a renaissance of sorts, you know. And not, if not at the very least, if it isn't a renaissance, it's absolutely going to be just this, like, you know, massive, you know, kind of deluge of new music from all your favorite artists.
Yeah, it's going to be incredible. And I've heard there are a number of bands out there who have actually written enough music for 2 albums. So it's really, I mean, that's...
Oh, totally.
It's pretty crazy. And the music that's going to be coming out this year, next year, I mean, we're going to be good to go for a long time.
Yeah, and stuff that's come out, I mean, look, stuff that's already come out, like we've talked about.
Every show.
Like every show, but you know, even the stuff in 2020 they come out, like, you know, like we've talked about on this podcast as well. Go back and listen to the other podcast. You'll hear
listen to the podcast.
If you listen to some of our earlier podcasts, you'll hear best of 2020. You get our picks on what we think the best albums were of 2020. So you can go check that
out. It seems like everybody's coming out with new music this year, except if your name is Vince Neil.
Except, you know, poor Vince Neil. So, you know, let's talk about that for a second. So Eddie Trunk, our buddy Eddie Trunk,
you know him.
Yeah, no, well, I don't, but you know, I feel like
Ferris
I know
Bueller
him.
reference there.
You know him. I feel like I know him, but he posted a thing where he was hosting some kind of festival and God knows where, and it was really actually looked like a cool bill, Dave. It was like all these cool 80s bands. It was like George Lynch. Now I'm blanking on it.
Now you're blanking.
I'm on the spot. Wasn't it like...
Was it Winger?
Maybe Winger or like Firehouse.
Like
Kix was definitely on it.
Yep.
It looked like a badass like 80s show, but Vince Neil was like the main headliner. And Eddie Trunk posted this on his Instagram and he was like, oh, I'm going to be hosting the show. I can't wait to see everybody. And the comments were just like a Vince Neil like lynching.
It was great. It was great.
I mean, seriously, it's getting so bad. Like, and it makes me think, like, you're right, Dave. Like, I really think they're postponing this tour because so when we talked about this before, we talked about, I think, people are going to come to the show anyway. Now I think the reputation is so bad that people would not buy tickets.
I would agree with you.
So anyway, let's not dwell on this so much, but absolutely. It's a real out there in the community, in the rock kind of community, rock fan community. He's got horrible credibility right now. So he's really got to come back from this. It's kind of it's a really sad situation with an iconic band.
It really is.
Like Motley Crue is in this place right now. So anyway, maybe they'll pull a Journey and find some really great cover singer.
That's another success band, a success story. Journey.
No, they're not.
You hate that guy. Dude, that guy's incredible.
They're a cover band.
What, Journey? Well, now they are.
Yeah, I mean the singer. Look, Steve Perry, one of the greatest rock singers of all time, and they're a cover band now because they don't do anything new.
They're coming out with new music.
They play all the hits. The guy sounds exactly like Steve Perry. It's not like he's doing his own thing.
So you don't see, this is where we always debate this because we disagree constantly on this. I think that guy's killer. I think they did I think he's great. A great job picking that guy out because he was like a YouTube sensation.
Yeah, but do you understand? Yes, but do you understand the point? He sounds exactly like Steve Perry.
Yes,
it's not.
That is the point.
It's not like AC/DC where it's like let's reinvent the band with Brian Johnson. It's not like Sammy Hagar.
Brian Johnson kind of Brian Johnson kind of had the same kind of voice.
No, way back. No way.
Well, kinda.
No.
Bon Scott kinda. He kind of does.
No way. I mean, maybe attitude-wise, but not the same voice. And Sammy Hagar, Sammy Hagar could sing circles around David Lee Roth.
No question, but in terms of like in terms of the guy, what's this? Pineda, the dude from Journey. Between him and Steve Perry, I mean, those two, they're almost indistinguishable depending on what you're listening to.
Well, so exactly, you're exactly right, and that's my problem with the whole thing. It's like, yeah, that's great if you want to hear like Steve Perry covers with Neil Sean playing guitar, like go have a fun time.
Yes,
that's what it is. And Neil Sean playing guitar. I'm not saying that's not awesome. That is awesome, but it's not.
That's like almost the original band. Well, since more
Steve
recent
Perry
history,
was
it's no longer the original band, but it's. But a few years ago, it was the original band minus Steve Perry. So you wouldn't love to see that show?
I guess it's just not the same cachet for me because it's not Steve Perry anymore. And granted, Steve Perry couldn't sing like
Neil Sean.
Steve Perry couldn't sing like that anymore. But but Dave, a lot of that. I mean, yes, but it's like 50% of it. It's like, yeah, that's great. 50% is there, but 50% isn't. That's the way I see this. It's like Queen, right? Queen. That's why I think it was great when Queen got Adam Lambert, because when they got Adam Lambert in there as the front man, he is not a Freddie Mercury clone.
But I hated that.
But this is the thing. Even if like love or hate it, it wasn't just a clone of Eddie Mercury. Because who can clone Eddie Mercury? Freddie Mercury. Nobody. Eddie Trunk. Yeah. I mean, who can clone Freddie Mercury? Nobody in the history of the world.
Nobody.
There's that guy that's on YouTube that sounds exactly like him, and I think he did some of the stuff for the Bohemian Rhapsody movie. And if Queen was really looking to do what Journey's doing, they could get that guy, and he would sound a lot like Freddie, and it would be cool, and it would be a fun kind of nostalgia cover band thing, which is what Journey's doing right now, right? And is that really what I yeah, it'd be fun. Yes, I'd go to the show. I'd have a good time. But is it like a reinvention of the band and is it really the band? No, it's not. It's just, it's reliving the glory days with like a stand-in, which to me is a little bit of a different thing.
Well, it's not like a ventriloquist puppet,
It kind of is though, Dave. That's what I'm trying to say. Like you can get someone that sound exactly like this singer. That's great. And this is somebody who's a cover band person.
I know.
Like I'm saying this, I'm not saying it's not. It's a great time, and people will pay to see it all day long, and I would as well. But I'm just saying it's not the same, and let's not pretend that it's the same.
Oh no, I don't think anybody's saying this. I don't think anybody's saying it the same. But I think in terms of in terms of credibility as a band, I think they still have it because they did come up with new music, and yes,
Journey
did. Just like they did, and just because
but does anybody care about it?
Well, I mean, if you're a huge Journey fan, you probably do.
Really? Is it good? I haven't even heard it.
So, but my point is, like, just because he sounds like him, so if you're gonna go see Journey, let's go back a few years before the more recent fight and the kickouts and all that stuff, and now it's not even Journey. It's pretty much just Neil Sean. But so let's go back before then. It was essentially the original band plus a new lead singer.
Yeah.
So who cares? Even if he sounds just like, don't you want the Journey experience? And you're gonna go see Neil Sean hit those crazy licks and just you're gonna go. You want to see the greatest hits, and you want to just see.
Yeah. So part of me says
you're gonna still see Journey, and that guy as a singer puts on a great show. He's a great front man. He's very dynamic. He's very much like Steve Perry. Yeah, you're right. But it's not a tribute band because it is the band.
Yeah. But for me, Steve Perry is like I said, it's at least 50% of that band. So, I mean, I don't know, Dave. I mean, to be honest with you, like, would I go want to see Journey or would I go see, some of the top Journey tribute bands in the country right now?
Wait a minute. You're really saying this now?
Yeah. Like I would see either one. I mean, yes, I do.
Okay, so right now,
yes, I do want to. I do want to see Neil Sean.
Second.
I do want to see Neil Sean. It'd be fun to see him perform because he wrote some iconic licks. But if we're honest, it's really about Steve Perry with that band. So I'm sorry, it just is.
Wow,
and it's never going to be this. It's never going to be the same because
it's never going to be the same.
So it's the same like Led Zeppelin, right? Like it's never the same. Even if they reunited, it's not the same. It's over. So. There's some amazing tribute bands out there. You can go and kind of relive this concert experience with them and have a great freaking time. I've done it. I've seen the Jason Bonham Led Zeppelin experience. I've seen Get the Lead Out. Which is, Get the Lead Out's incredible. But I would actually say I like the Jason Bonham Led Zeppelin experience a little better because they like try to emulate the live shows that Zeppelin did, whereas Get the Lead Out does like perfect recreations of the albums, which is unbelievable. Anyway,
that is pretty unbelievable.
This is a long tangent we've been on, Dave.
It's a very long tangent.
What do you want to do?
It's a good tangent. It's a very important tangent, and I'm still blown away. So if 5 years ago I handed you an envelope or two envelopes, and you could pick, one had Journey tickets and one had Journey tribute tickets in it, you would pick the tribute tickets?
I would pick the tickets that had the better seats.
Okay, same venue, same seats.
Yeah. Okay, then I would go see Neil Schon.
There you go. Okay. All right. Jeez. I thought maybe the barber cut a little too close.
But I would, you know what I mean? Like if it was like a thing of like, I can go to a really small kind of a venue, get kind of close to the stage, really let it like, you know, kind of be drawn into the whole thing. Yeah, I would go see the Journey tribute band, you know, rather than going to like a big, huge, you know, stadium tour with Journey sitting in the back. No, I would much rather go see the tribute. But if you're giving me the same seats, I would go see Neil Schon every day of the week.
Well, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't go. I definitely wouldn't go. I wouldn't go see very many bands if I had to sit in nosebleeds for sure.
But you guys tell us in the comments. What do you guys think? What do you guys think?
Yeah, send us some comments. Let us know. What do you guys
think?
About
these bands that have replaced singers that are basically clones of the original singers? What do you guys think?
Yeah, tell us what you think. But speaking of clones. Let's move on.
Yeah.
And let's just, as I said in the intro, let's just bludgeon Joe Bonamassa to death.
We gotta. So when Joe Bonamassa releases a piece of gear, we you know, as the guitar dads, we have to be all over it completely. Okay. So
of course.
So this is what's going on with Joe Bonamassa. Joe Bonamassa has just released a replica made by the Fender Custom Shop, made by a Fender master builder. I know Dave thought I was going to say something else.
Not that kind of show.
We're so childish here on the Guitar Dads. A master builder in the Fender Custom Shop, 1951 Fender Nocaster that Joe has nicknamed the Bludgeon. Do you know why he calls it the Bludgeon, Dave?
I actually don't.
Okay, you know, I don't think this is anywhere that you're going to find in the kind of you know, copy that's out there on the internet with this. I'm pretty sure a few years back he was playing the Nocaster on stage, and a fan got like a little bit overzealous and tried to jump on the stage with Joe, and Joe literally, while he was playing, kind of whacked him on the head with the Nocaster.
That can't be true. Really?
I think it's a true story.
Is there video evidence of this?
There might be. If you Google it, you might find it.
Yeah, if you're listening and you know about this, send us a video.
I honestly think that's why he's calling it the Bludgeon. Why else would he call it the Bludgeon? I mean, come on.
Well, unless it's like one of his favorite guitars and he just like beat the crap out of it.
Yeah, well, I think that might be it as well. But here's the thing that's interesting about this whole situation with the Nocaster. He says it's one of the best guitars he's ever played ever.
That's saying something.
Right?
That's saying something.
Dave, do you believe him?
Him? Yeah, I do. Well, I mean, for him, yeah, he's played. I mean, look at it. Look at how many guitars does he have?
I mean, I believe him.
I believe him.
I mean, imagine saying that, like, this is one of the best guitars he's ever played ever. If not the best guitar.
But that's why he's doing this, right? Because that's his favorite guitar.
He says he literally says it's his favorite guitar.
Yeah.
And so it's pretty cool. So, you know, it's like a heavy relict, you know, Fender Nocaster. It's got a PAF humbucker in the bridge. It's got like an original, you know, single coil in the neck. It's a butterscotch blonde with the black plate. It's, you know, it's a classic Nocaster, right? 51, totally cool. $8,500.
Is that worth it to you?
Well, I'll tell you what. So this is what was interesting to me. I mean, granted, it's a bolt-on. It's less involved than what Gibson is doing with this Les Pauls. But I'll tell you what. It's interesting because the Murphy Lab at Gibson is doing similarly aged guitars to try to give that real super vintagey feel. And they go upwards of $12,000. right? So Gibson is doing this in a severely limited edition. I think they said only 100 pieces for $8,500. Sounds like a bargain to me.
Yeah, when you put it that way, sure. Now let's look on the wall behind you, and I think there's space.
Yeah, there's space back there. Yeah, I know. It would be cool. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, we've talked about this before, Dave. I don't know. I mean, can you really justify that kind of expense for a guitar like that? I mean, look, if you're going to love it, it's definitely going to be something you would have your whole life. And
yeah, not for that money.
But $8,500, I mean, that's a lot.
Simon Cowell says it's a no from me.
And for that reason, that's way too rich. For that reason, I'm out. It's way too rich for my blood, but
yeah, that's not.
But it looks pretty sweet. It sounds incredible, and it's Joe Bonamassa, and maybe he'll give you a free watering can with it.
And I think didn't I read like Seymour Duncan's doing the pickups? Free water.
Yeah, he sells watering cans like Joe Bonamassa guitar-shaped watering.
I wouldn't be surprised if he sold an edition of this guitar with his face painted on the body.
Maybe he'll get a. Maybe he'll throw in a free back scratcher. Anyway, yeah, I mean, but it looks really cool.
With a free coffee mug, you can enjoy a cup of coffee while you get your back scratched.
The other thing amazing, we love to talk about. Everybody loves to hate on Bonamassa, and we love to make fun of him as well. But
but we love Bonamassa.
we love him
we
so
love
much.
Him. Love
but
him.
What's amazing about Bonamassa, right? He's done like a couple of signature amps with Fender. Now he's doing like a signature recreation of the Nocaster. And he does that with Fender. And then he has these deals with Gibson where he does these like, cool Epiphones that he's released, like, tons of them over the years. I mean, this guy is prolific. When you think of it, it's like, this is, I mean, what artist do you know has multiple signature pieces of gear across like multiple companies? I don't think you can name anybody. And like bouncing back and forth between two of them. It's kind of crazy. And he has pedals too.
Yeah. And what's kind of crazy too is he's like it's like a big name to us, but he's not really a big name in the music industry as a whole, right? Like the average like music fan doesn't really know who Joe Bonamassa is, but this guy's just like all over the place.
If you're a rock fan, like a music, like if you're into the genres that we're into, you know who he is. He's very
right. No, I'm saying the average
successful
music fan.
Yeah. The average people, like maybe that don't listen to this podcast, would not know who he is. But yeah, anyway, it's kind of an amazing stuff. I would
say if you don't listen to this podcast, you kind of are average.
You're out of the loop completely if you're not listening to Guitar Dads. So that's a good point. But what else we got? So then another cool piece of gear. Another cool vintage piece of gear was released.
Yeah, this kind of has a cool story.
So
too.
why don't you talk about it?
So we're talking about the PRS, the new PRS HX amps, right? And I think it's they putting them out in 50 watt, 100 watt, right?
Yes. Explain what they are.
So apparently, this is the exact amp that Jimi Hendrix played. No,
that would be cool too.
Yeah, so I guess back in a few years ago, Paul Reed Smith and I forget who. Anyway, they were able to get a hold of one of Jimi Hendrix's stage plate amps and really look at it, inspect it, and kind of recreate that amp, or at least parts of it. I don't really totally understand what this amp is. Maybe you can explain.
It's a plexi, right? So it's a plexi. Yeah. Everybody knows that what Jimmy did. We talked about this last week actually on the podcast. This is going to be
like a modded Marshall and like a PRS kind of.
Well, not even modded, right? Just like an original Marshall. Like I think they want like one of the first Marshalls that was out there, plexi. And they basically just recreate. It's basically like a real recreation of a vintage plexi that Hendrix used. Maybe it was modded slightly. It was probably modded by Jim Marshall himself to tweak to what Jimmy wanted. But it's basically like a recreation of that amplifier. And that PRS has released. It's mega money, as you would imagine, because it's PRS. Actually, PRS is doing some. We talked about a couple weeks ago. They released a lower price amp. They did the Mark.
Yeah, we did talk about
They
that.
did the Mark Tremonti amp a few years back. That was affordable as well. But this one is not. This one is like around $4,000. It's like $3,900.
Yeah.
Did you hear any of the demos, Dave? Did you watch the Music Is Win one, Tyler?
I watched one. I didn't watch very many. So
what was your impressions?
I mean, yeah, for that, it's not certainly with that price range, not an amp I would ever be able to ever be interested in. But the thing sounds really great. I mean, I don't know. I mean, is this so? To me, like, is it almost kind of? I don't want to knock the thing because it sounds really good. It sounds incredible, but. Is it kind of, are you buying, so if you're buying this amp, are you buying it for the great sound? Because I would argue you could probably get, a less expensive Marshall and get the same sound, right?
I mean, you could buy a vintage Plexi.
You could buy a vintage Plexi and get
that's exactly where I was going to go with this. You could buy a vintage Plexi for probably a little bit less. I think they go for like $3,500 or around there. I mean, a super, super rare one, maybe would be more in the 4,000 or 5,000 range or even above. But I agree with you. Like, you could probably get close with the actual thing. So I think, I think this is just like tweaked to really emulate, Jimmy's Plexi. And also, it's also going to have like the modern kind of reliability you're going to have with the modern amp. I don't know if it has like, I didn't even dig into it as much to know, like, does it have a master volume so you don't have to have it cranked up? It could be like they kind of emulated the power tube saturation distortion. They emulated that in the preamp so that you can use a master volume and kind of get it at lower volumes. That might be what they've done. I'm just speculating. I haven't really looked into it.
Keep talking. I'm going to look this up. I'm looking this up because I literally
only watched the Music Is Win video, and I'll tell you what, it does sound good. I'll tell you the truth. First impressions from his video, I was not blown away that it really nailed that Hendrix sound. Of course. And the thing is, Tyler is an incredible guitar player, and I was like, I'm like, yeah, it's kind of close. I don't know. It sounds great. I mean, definitely, it's a great sound, but is it the Jimmy sound? I don't know. Then he kicked on like a Univibe pedal and a fuzz pedal and played the national anthem. And it sounded just like Hendrix. It was really cool.
Now, let me argue that. You have heard that, I'm sure, on several other channels with a bunch of different gear where you can kind of replicate that sound. Now,
good point, Dave. Good point.
If you had this particular amp in the same room,
yep,
and you had a Plexi or a vintage Plexi or whatever, do you think you could hear the difference?
Probably.
I would argue
not.
You probably can't.
Probably not. No. So that this
that's
is
true. That's true of all. That's true of a lot of this, like a lot of this kind of reissue stuff and replications and clones and all that stuff, right? Like you can't.
You're right.
You totally can't really hear the difference. And if people are saying they're hearing, minute differences in this kind of stuff, they're either like their ear is that good or they're lying.
Yeah, exactly.
Or they're getting wrapped up in the
gas.
Yeah, exactly. They're getting wrapped up in that, or they want to, or you're such a huge Jimi Hendrix fan, you're saying, yeah, I can. That's it. That's the sound.
Yeah, right? I'd be interested to see how they do with these amplifiers. I mean, obviously they're not probably looking to sell gazillions of them, but I'm sure they'll sell a good amount of them, and they do sound good.
I wonder how many were made.
Yeah, they sound good. It's a cool little thing. It is a little bit weird. Like PRS is releasing a Hendrix amplifier. Like, what the hell? It is kind of cool that PRS is getting into this. I don't want to say mainstream, but like, trying to we'll put it this way, with John Mayer and now with this, they're really trying to infringe upon the classic vintage instruments and now sounds. So I like it as a direction for PRS to say, look, we're not only like a more modern thing that most people think we are, we can also do the vintage thing incredibly well. So I think that's their angle here, to be like, look, we can be vintage too. We can do these cool classic tones. We proved it with the Mayer's Silver Sky to get classic Strat tones and do it better than a lot of people can do. and now we're doing this with amplifiers. We can give you the Marshall sound you want.
And again, they're the whole like story and the whole like mythology behind this amp is like, oh, this is the amp that he used at Woodstock, and again, if you had 2 amps that Jimi Hendrix used, one at Woodstock and one at some other show.
Yeah.
Would you be able to tell the difference? No.
Yeah, exactly. But it
right?
is.
I mean, it's just like any other amp.
But it is cool, and it's
It is cool. It is cool. So if you're a huge Jimi Hendrix fan, I guess like, and you got the money, this is probably like a piece of gear that you want.
Oh yeah, it's totally cool. But I'll tell you what, like, is Line 6 going to get on their case because they're calling it HX? Is it going to infringe on the HX stomp?
Ah, good point.
I wonder. Maybe there's a cease and desist coming.
Ooh.
I don't know.
Is there going to be like a patch for this in the HX?
Oh, that would be cool.
There you go.
I mean, it kind of already exists, but yeah, I mean, it'd be cool. All right.
So what else we got? Is that it?
That's it this week, folks.
Wow. Just going to end it just like that.
That's all we got. Dave, give them reminders. Make sure you check us out on Instagram. Make sure you check us out on YouTube. We will be putting more stuff on YouTube soon, hopefully. I'll tell you the truth, guys. Like, summer is full on here in the Northeast, so our weekends are kind of filled up. That's the time that I would kind of devote to YouTube content, doing demos and stuff. So that's why you don't see as much of that stuff. If there's something specific you want to see, let us know. I do have some stuff in the works, and Dave does as well, and we'll get some stuff.
My wrist is finally feeling better, so I'm gonna test some tones on that.
Classic vibe.
The
Vlasic classic. The Vlasic vibe.
The Vlasic vibe. Yes. So
all right.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned for that next week on the Guitar Dads podcast. Catch you guys on the flip.